Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So we're on with part 3 of this low loader trailer now. So this is a direct follow on from part 2 where I've done all the chassis. Got them, last job I did was get them stays welded in. So all that lot now is pretty much finished apart from putting the axles on. Two little jobs I need to do now. So that stay bar there at the bottom is broken off nearly. I think the other one at the other side looks like it has as well. These plates want replacing because they're about rotten. And then there was also a crack in the chassis somewhere. I think that was maybe the other side. So I'll have to sort that out. I might do that when it's back the right way up. Take this side how bad they are. And that's sort of where the drawbar's fastened onto. So it gives that channel some strength rather than trying to twist the channel, I suppose. Make it look better as well if it's got some new ones of them on. So I'll chop them off and then plasma some new ones out and then weld them on. Found some more holes, so it's got a hole in there and a hole in there. Anywhere it's had like soil collected, it's just rotten out. This side's not as bad, but for some reason they're like double skinned. That's not rust, that's actual metal. And there's like 2 layers for some reason. I don't know why that is. But yeah, I'll do the same with them. I'll cut out the same as what I did with the patches on the chassis. As soon as I got these done, I'm going to stop because I just keep finding more and more. Right, so I've got them end bits gouged off, but before I clean it up, I'm going to cut out the new bits to weld on, because I don't need to clean all this lot up because I'm chopping some of that out. So if I cut out the bits, CNC the plasma bits out, and I can lay it on there and draw around it, and then cut them bits out. Same this side, I've got that down to like the original end, gouged it away, same at the bottom. And I've already cut a little bit out of there so I could get this end bit out. But the top and bottom's still fairly solid, well, very solid, so they'll be alright. Got these bits drawn, they're like the ends, and they're the bits that I'm going to cut out and patch into the channel. So we'll cut that out of there somewhere. Maybe use this bit actually. Right, so I've got them bits cut out now, so carry on cleaning these up. You can see on there, like the old bit of metal is still on, so I need to get rid of that. So I think I'll chop a bit out down there, and I can sit that end plate up, and then sit that again there, and draw around it, and then chop that bit out. I think I'm going to overlap the end rather than butting it up. I'll overlap it a little bit, because it'll be easier doing that. Right, like when I did the chassis, I like butted it up again it rather than overlap it because of where the cross members were. And when it's overlapped as well, I can get a weld down both sides, down this side and down that side. I've got all them ends cleaned up now. So if I slide that in there with sort of 10mm sticking out the end, draw around it in there, cut round it on the chalk mark, and then when I slide that back in, there'll be 10mm overlap on that end for me to weld round on both sides. And then obviously weld it up to this end plate once I've got this cut out. So I'll mark all them up now, drop them out. I have to grind them, clean them up so that will fit in, because it's got like a radius in the corner there, so I'll have to get rid of that and then tack all them in. I've got that one welded up. I thought it's nearly the end of the day, so I thought I'd get this one welded up rather than starting chopping another one up. I did wander off a little bit when I was cutting it out because I couldn't see where I was going because I was on the other side trying to look up into there. So next one I do, I have to make sure I cut a straight line. Yeah, that's welded round, vertical up in there. You can see them welds are burnt in nice. That's a vertical up in there as well. It's not that tidy, but yeah, no, that's that one done. So I'll get the other three cut out now and we'll get them done. Right, so that's them welded all the way around. Yeah, same as that one. So that should have got some strength back into there again. Last welding job to do on it now is to weld, well, to sort these out because they're cracked around there. This one's cracked at this end and that one's cracked at that end. That one's alright and that one there is alright. I think it's going to make this one a bit tricky is this side marker. I don't fancy me look trying to get that screw undone, so I'll try and work around that best I can. You can see there it's all cracked off. Right, that's that one welded up. And that's that one welded up. Didn't weld up that fantastic, but enough to hold it on a bit longer. Right, so I think that's about all I need to do welding and replacing stuff. I'm going to walk around with my eyes shut now anyway, so I can't see any more that needs doing. I think I'll give the areas that I've done a bit of a clean off, and then I'll just brush paint it with red oxide, just lather it on, and then it's up to the customer what he wants to do with it after that. I'll do that now, and then I'll bring the axles in, because I have the rams to weld on for the hydraulic brakes, and then the springs to bolt on. So while the paint is drying on the chassis, once I get it painted, then I can get on with the axles. a bit of paint chucked on there and on there. So I just brush painted it. There's no point spraying it when the rest of the chassis looks like that. So yeah, that should stop it going rusty. So yeah, I'll bring the axles in now and see what I need to do with them. So these are the new axles. Now I think they're only agricultural axles because they've only got little brakes and they're only 8 stud. So, well, obviously they're suited for this trailer, but yeah, they're only little. These need a brake ram for each wheel, where the old axle just had one ram in the middle and then with like an equaliser, but they were closer together. So these rams here are to weld onto the axle. Obviously each one, and then they'll all need piping up as well. So I've just looked at the old one. I think I'll just weld them on flush with the front there like that, and then they've got the adjuster in there, and you can adjust the back on there as well. But I'll maybe check actually, see how much tension is going to be on the spring before I weld that on. Might need to be it further back. Actually, these things go through there like that, and then the spring hooks onto them. So with that there, the spring doesn't actually go onto there, it goes onto that. So yeah, that'll be all right, flush with the front of that. So I'll get them cleaned up, get them ground down, and then we'll weld all them on. So that's them welded on. I've just welded down the side of them. Don't need any more weld than that, I don't think. So I still need to put the springs on yet. So for the big leaf springs, to fasten them on, I use these U-bolts, and these thin plates go at the top, and you weld them onto the axle, and then these thick plates go at the bottom with a washer and a nut that like clamps it onto the axle. Well, they must have used one of them old plates last time, so there's one of them to reuse when they put a new spring on before. So I think I'll put the springs on the axle, get them clamped down somewhere near before I weld these on, and then I'll maybe put the axles onto the trailer, make sure the central and the centres are right to fit in the spring hangers before I weld them on. Maybe. I'll see. So on these off the pallet now, I'll probably sit them just on the tines, and I can put the springs, offer the springs up and clamp them on. That was a new spring, but they've already used that one because one of the old ones is broken. Right, so that's one set of springs put on that first axle. Now when the axles were on the trailer to start with, I had a job moving it about because it was too heavy. So I had to take the axles off outside and then move it in the workshop. But I aren't quite sure what our JCB is doing today, whether it's busy or not. So it was busy yesterday, spreading muck. So I think I'll put the axles on now and then worry about getting it out of the workshop afterwards. We should be able to manage, I think, getting it out. So yeah, I think I'll offer that one up now before I put the springs on the other one, just because it takes less space up on the tines, and then get the axle lined up where it needs to be, and then I'll weld them plates onto the axle. Right, that's the axle on, so same again with this one now. So that's the axles on now, so I've shuffled them about. I've got the measurement the same from like the face to the chassis on both sides, so I know the axle's in the middle. I've shuffled them, like there's a little bit of tolerance that way, and then measured, well, right from the drawbar at the front back, and made sure that that's running true, and then the same to this axle. So both axles are parallel and the axle is square with the chassis, so I'm happy with all that. I can weld across there, weld them plates onto the axles now, because them plates is like what is used to locate the spring. Then I've just got the return springs to put on the brake rams, and we should have done that when they were the right way up. And then I've got some hydraulic pipes, so I'll have to get some hydraulic pipes made for the brakes, and then that junction box to put somewhere and some wires to connect back up. And that is about nearly finished then. Just been to get some hydraulic pipes made for the brakes, so I'll get them put on as well. And then I had to reuse one of them plates because they'd used it when they changed the spring before, and then none of them have got paint on them, so I'll put some red oxide on them. And the rams are also bare metal, so I'll put some red oxide on them, and then I'll give them a tweak down with the bar as well, rather than the impact gun, just to make sure they're tight. Oh, and there's them bolts to tighten up, and then give them a good grease. And then, yeah, that's everything done. Yeah, that crack, there's a crack at that corner on the outer chassis to weld up, so I'll maybe do that now as well while it's upside down. I'll do that when it was the right way up, but I think it'd be easier to do it now. And then, yeah, the wiring, I'll do that when it's back the right way up, because the ramps, obviously the ramps aren't on now, and the ramps, one of the wires for the ramps comes through to there, to that junction box. But other than that, I think it's about done nearly. Wheels to go back on, but I'll put the wheels on when it's outside, and then it's a little bit less weight to try and lift it out with. And like I said, the JCB is out doing another job at the moment, so as soon as that comes back, probably tomorrow now, we'll take it outside and flip it back the right way up again. So this crack, I'm just going to grind this out and then re-weld it back up from this side. And then when it's the right way up, then if I need to do anything from the other side, I can do that when I have a bit more space and it's at a better height. Right, so that's that welded up. And outside it's sort of burnt through. I'll gouge that off. I'll grind that out and weld it up from that side as well. It did burn through a bit in some places. Bit of wire sticking through. But that should do that from that side. So I'll maybe clean some of this rust out, get some of this out from underneath, and then when I turn it back over, I'm not going to end up with all that stuff out in the yard. And then I'll have to see if my dad's about to give me a hand to manoeuvre it back out the workshop again. So I've just tried vacuuming some of that rust out with a vacuum, but it's not really powerful enough. And I've tried blowing it with a leaf blower, and it's not really powerful enough either, so I'll just have to leave it and turn it upside down and then sweep it up once it all drops off. So that's the trailer back the right way up now, out of the workshop finally. So I brought these old axles round and we'll just whip these wheels off and then get them wheels put on. Having a bit of a job getting some of these wheel nuts undone because they're too tight. Now in hindsight I probably should have cracked them off before I took the axles off the trailer, but I didn't do. 3/4 windy gun and that didn't do it. I think this actually has more power, even though it's only 1/2 inch. So I don't need to use them wheel nuts again. I've got some new ones, so I think I'll just warm the wheel nuts up. The ones that, some of them were really loose and the other ones are very tight. We've got all the wheel nuts undone on this one now, so yeah, one of them had to heat you up really hot so it was glowing to get it to come undone. Sometimes if you heat them up too hot then the threads pick up and then you end up with them really stuck. But that's only if sort of the stud gets hot as well. That one I tried cutting a bit out of it and it still won't come undone, so then I had to get that one glowing as well. Anyway, it's finally off. So I spoke to my friend who has a torque amplifier or torque multiplier that I could borrow, but he doesn't finish work till 5 o'clock, so I don't want to be waiting. I want to be getting on and doing this now, so I'll carry on struggling on. But this side that were tight, I managed to crack them off with a bar and a scaffolding pole, so they're, I've just got them to whiz off now, and then this axle done. There's one that's two, there's a one in there that's tight. I have to try that with a bar, but I need to hold the axle down, otherwise the wheel just spins. And then, yeah, all of them. I haven't tried any of these yet. Oh, I have tried them with the windy gun, but yeah, they don't look like they'll come undone very easy. That's them wheels off finally. So get these put back on the trailer. That is it now sat back on its own wheels. Yeah, that's them on. So we'll bring the ramps around now and get the ramps put back on. There's a few boards. Well, the boards aren't very good. One of them's over there to sit back in, and then that box to weld back on the front, and then just the lights to connect back up again. Right, so that's that finished. So I've got the box put back on the top, on the front, got that welded on, ramps are back on, all the lights are wired back up again. So it's ready to go back out to the customer. So the annoying thing is, even after all that work, it still does look like an old trailer, but at least now, well, the axles aren't going to fall off like they were before. It's sort of safe again now. And then if he does want to sell it, it's got all new axles and running gear and brakes, and everything underneath is all that is new again, basically. So if it had some new boards on it, it wouldn't look too bad. That makes it look worse with the broken boards. And then that's what it looks like from underneath. So there's a few comments saying, is it worth doing it? Is it worth doing all this work on an old trailer? But the customer, whether the customer's valuation is right on what the trailer's worth or not, I'm not sure. But he said he'd give me, well, he sort of said to me, this is how much I want to spend on it. And then I could work out from that, through my hourly rate, whether I'd have plenty of time to do it or not, which sort of, it did give me plenty of time. So, yeah, I've still made my hourly rate on this job, same as I would do with any other job. Kept sort of near enough to within the customer's budget, so he should be happy with like the overall price. And then, yeah, it's up to him what he values it at. So, yeah, that's that. But then I'm probably not charging enough for my hourly rate as it is, so I think I'm going to put my hourly rate up after this job. Obviously all the jobs that have come in at the moment I'll have to do on my old hourly rate, but after I've got all them done, yeah, I think I'll be putting my hourly rate up. I might not end up with jobs like this to do. But anyway, it's done now. So yeah, that's it done. End of part 3. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.